So thank you everyone for joining us today for the April 2025 London Health Sciences Centre Community Update meeting. So before I begin, I would like to turn things over to Julia Murchison, our LHSC's VP of People and Employee Experience, Infection Prevention and Control, and Health Disciplines to deliver today's land acknowledgement. Julia?
You're on mute, Julia.
Oh my gosh, always to forget the unmuting. 5 years. Hi, everybody. LHSC is located on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Lenapehoik, and Chinunten peoples on lands connected with the London Township and Sombra Treaties of 1796 and the Dish with One Spoon Covenant Wampum. We serve the First Nation communities of the Chippewas of the Thames, Oneida Nation of the Thames, and the Munsee Delaware Nation, as well as multiple First Nation communities in Northwestern Ontario. We acknowledge the grave injustices and cultural genocide of the residential school system perpetrated in our region at the Mohawk Institute in Brantford and the Mount Elgin Indian Residential School in St. Thomas. We recognize the value of Aboriginal healing practices and commit to collaborating with Aboriginal healers and elders in advancing their integration into care at LHSC, consistent with the call to action number 22 in the Truth and Reconciliation Report. We're also working to strengthen and expand Indigenous cultural safety training at LHSC, consistent with the call to action number 23 in the Truth and Reconciliation Report, and inspired by Joyce's principle that all Indigenous people have the right to equitable access without discrimination to all health services, as well as the right to enjoy the best possible physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. In doing so, we remember Joyce Echequaquan and all the Indigenous people harmed in our healthcare system, victims of systemic anti-Indigenous racism. We commit to do better.
Thank you, Julia. And for those tuning in for the first time, welcome. Our community update meetings serve as a platform to keep you informed about what's happening within the LHSC organization, to share updates on new initiatives, and to outline the steps we're taking to deliver on our promise of excellent care. These meetings are also live streamed through our website and social media channels, and a recording is also made available afterwards. Our meetings also are on replay on Rogers TV London. So I'd like to start today by sharing an update on how we're working to keep staff, professional staff, patients, and visitors safe at LHSC. As announced last week, our new weapons detection system is now live at University Hospital. It's been up and running for over a week now, and early feedback from staff and patients has been very positive. This is a very important step forward, one that's helping to create a more secure, safe space, and for the moment, from the moment people walk through our doors. So in just the first week, the system has already helped identify some 23 knives, which individuals either returned to their vehicles or turned over to our team for safekeeping during their visit. Again, in the vast majority, 99.9% of these cases, folks have no ill will or intention to use any of these pieces when they come through the hospital or these knives. However, you simply don't need them when you're seeking care at the emergency department. These early highlight the value of the system in supporting a safer environment for everyone in our care. The same system will go live at the Victoria Hospital and Children's Hospital Emergency Department on Tuesday, May 6th, and we'll be applying the same care and collaboration as we prepare for that launch. You'll see signage and messaging in and around our emergency department entrances, and our security team will be there to support both patients and staff through this transition. Again, this is just one piece or one layer of our broader effort to continue to improve safety across LHSC, and I really want to thank the community for their ongoing support regarding this initiative. Now I want to talk about the focus of the majority of our conversation today is on the recent surveys that were conducted by LHSC's Community Advisory Committee. If you recall, the CAC, as we call it, was formed in late 2024 to help foster ongoing connections between LHSC and our community. One of its first initiatives is the CAC launched 2 surveys in November, one for our team members here at LHSC and another for the public. Through both, the CAC wanted to learn more about what matters to LHSC's most important stakeholders, which are our team members and the patients and families we serve. Since the surveys closed in January, the CAC and LHSC leadership have worked together to analyze the feedback we received and to develop a set of recommended actions to help address that feedback. Today, we're joined by a very special guest to share those results. Miriam Hamu, who's one of our members of our Community Advisory Committee, is here today to go over what they heard and what we're doing about it. Born in London to Lebanese and Syrian community leaders, Miriam was London's first Muslim female city councillor. She also was a chief of staff for a member of parliament and served as a North American PR and media director for the UN-led Syrian coalition in Istanbul. She has been heavily involved in local and international NGOs and has led the Ontario Library Boards Association as a past president. She currently sits on boards in London and internationally and has 2 teenage daughters and works in Tillsonburg as a children's librarian. Marion, I want to thank you for the hard work you've done on the CAC, and first of all, agreeing to be on the CAC, a very important group of individuals. And I'm going to now pass it on to you to talk about the results.
Thank you, David, and hello, everybody. Thanks for having me here today. I want to start off by thanking all of you who took the time to share your honest, candid feedback about LHSC's strategic direction, operations leadership, and areas for improvement. We had 4,000 responses to our surveys, and the feedback was thoughtful, constructive, and deeply appreciated. It's clear that LHSC means a lot to this community, and that you all care deeply about the hospital, about your friends and family, and your fellow community members. Your responses provided incredibly valuable insights, some into what's going well and some into what's not going so well. You also shared creative and innovative ideas for improvement, so I want to thank you for that. The purpose of the surveys was simple but important. Number one and foremost, to listen, to understand what's working, where there's room for improvement, and how we can improve. Our CIC and the LHSC leadership team felt it was important for many questions to be open-ended, to allow for honest and thoughtful feedback. This can sometimes make it harder to analyze, but we were able to leverage some of the internal expertise at LHSC, and then the results were analyzed using AI software to help us identify the reoccurring themes and gain a better understanding of the key areas of focus and priorities expressed by the respondents. First and foremost, we heard loud and clear that the quality of care being provided to patients and the commitment and dedication of LHSC staff and physicians is exceptional, and we totally agree. This community is both lucky and proud to have LHSC supporting London and the region. In the community survey, several other strong themes also emerged. You told us that the following themes were of importance to you: the wait times, communications, staffing challenges, facility infrastructure and resources, and finally, transparency and trust. Interestingly, this feedback was echoed by members of Team LHSC with similar themes emerging. LHSC staff, physicians, patient partners, volunteers, and learners told us the following were the most important to them: workload and staffing challenges, leadership and communication, training and development, resource and equipment availability, and finally, staff well-being and recognition. For our CAC and the LHSC leadership team, the overlap between the themes heard from our community and Team LHSC quickly became apparent, as you can see here. We received a wealth of knowledge and we have taken that feedback very seriously. It's not enough for us simply to do a survey, to listen and then do nothing about it. Instead, the CAC and LHSC's leadership team have co-developed an action plan with a series of recommendations that will help guide LHSC's path forward. In total, the CAC has endorsed 29 recommendations organized into these 8 main themes. Number 1, staffing and workload. Number 2, patient volumes, access and wait times. Number 3, enhance organizational communications and community engagement. Number 4, improve communication with patients and families. Number 5, training and development opportunities. Number 6, facilities, technology, equipment, and resources. Number 7, support vulnerable populations. And finally, number 8, partnership and collaboration. I'm going to share a few examples of our recommendations, but I encourage you to read the full report to see them all. The recommendations include, from the staff and workload theme, recognizing the hospital regularly operates at more than 100% patient capacity. LHSC will work to ensure our hospitals align to best practices for resources, including ensuring we have effective and safe staffing levels, workloads, and processes that optimize patient care outcomes. From the patient volumes, access, and wait times theme, LHSC will work with partners and the Ministry of Health to ensure patients are transitioned to the care setting that best meets their unique needs. This includes planning for public hospital capacity, strengthening administrative oversight, and expanding the use of the LHSC to Home program to support patients transitioning from hospital to home care services. From the enhanced organizational communication and community engagement theme, LHSC will provide regular financial updates to all stakeholders, including the community and members of the media. From the improved communication with patients and families theme, LHSC will allow patients to opt in to receiving communications from their providers via email and text messages. From the facilities, technology, equipment, and resources theme, LHSC will implement Maze Map, wayfinding technology for patients to easily navigate our hospital sites. From the support vulnerable populations theme, LHSC will work towards adopting Joyce's principle while continuing to advance Indigenous health, equity, and Truth and Reconciliation Commission's call to action in health. And from the partnership and collaborations theme, LHSC will strengthen partnerships with community nonprofit and healthcare partner organizations, including St. Joseph's Healthcare London, to best support patients across our region and province. As I mentioned, the full report and recommendations are now available on the LHSC website, and I really do encourage everybody to take a look when you do have time. The CIC is committed to supporting LHSC leadership in this work. LHSC leadership will be keeping us updated on the rollout of this action plan as it advances, and we will be sharing regular updates on progress with the community. I will also note that we know that there is way more that LHSC can do and needs to do to improve, support its team members, and care for this community. I do know that, and we are going to be continuously working on that goal. Now I will turn back to David, and he's going to speak about other things that the LHSC is doing. David.
Thank you, Miriam. First of all, again, thank you for your time today and your continued efforts as a member of the CAC and helping LHSC improve as an organization. And I really want to echo Miriam's comments and encourage each of you to take the time to read the full report and action plan on our website when you have the time. A link to the report can be found on the homepage of our website, and it'll be there for the next couple of weeks. You can also find it if you search Community Advisory Committee on our website. So I also want to be clear, this is not the only avenue through which we're working to improve LHSC. This work is meant to complement our detailed organizational review, which is focused on improving our governance, operation, finances, policies, and procedure. We're nearing finalization of the recommendations from that report, and we'll be planning to share those recommendations in the weeks to come. As we look forward, we'll be assessing how we can bring each set of recommendations together to form a cohesive plan that will guide us in the improvement journey as we renew our organization's dedication to operational excellence. So this is part of a much bigger picture, and your input will continue to shape the future. As Miriam mentioned, in addition to this initial report, we'll be providing regular updates on our progress towards addressing the CAC's recommendations. This isn't a one-time conversation. It's an ongoing commitment to transparency, accountability, and improvement items that you specifically, both internally and externally to LHSC, asked for. With that, I really want to once again thank you. Your feedback is helping us improve, and we're going to continue to be improving as we continue down this journey, and your feedback is always important. So I'm now going to turn things over to Deborah Wiseman, our VP of Emergency Services Critical Care, CNS, and our Corporate Nursing Executive, and Dr. Christy McDonald, who's our Emergency Medicine Department Head and Interim Vice Chair of our Medical Advisory Committee, to share their monthly report to the community.
Thank you, David. Today, we'll go to the next slide. Today, Dr. McDonald and I are excited to offer some updates. The first update I have are these 3 physicians, along with 36 other Canadians. This is Dr. Kristen Shoesmith, Dr. Michael Strong. They're both neurologists here at London Health Sciences Centre, and Dr. Amit Garg, who is one of our research scientists with LHSCRI and a nephrologist. They've been awarded King Charles III Coronation Medal. This Coronation Medal program was launched 2 years ago and marked the coronation of His Majesty the King Charles III as King of Canada. This medal program recognizes individuals who've helped improve society or gained international recognition for Canada. And this year, ALS Canada was selected for recognition for this prestigious medal. In Canada today, about 4,000 people are estimated to live with ALS. ALS, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a disease that affects nerve cells in both the brain and the spinal cord. It leads to increased muscle weakness and muscle loss, and over time, as well as other factors, it will affect life expectancy. This award specifically acknowledges our physicians, Dr. Shoesmith, Dr. Garg, and Dr. Strong's research and patient support work in ALS. LHSC congratulates our physician researchers, as well as all the honorees, for their exceptional contributions to healthcare and research. Next slide. I'd like to announce the opportunity for our community to attend our local libraries for some education sessions. Every day across southwestern Ontario, approximately 1,000 patients, both LHSC and St. Joseph's Healthcare Centre London, receive care without leaving their home, benefiting from expanding options of virtual care. The virtual care program sets out to improve awareness, skills, or confidence for virtual care, and happens in their own neighborhood. The goal of these 90-minute workshops is to promote equitable access for our virtual care opportunities and helps the community members confidently access our programming. Participants will learn about the benefits of virtual care, how to access it. They will explore available supports and resources. As well, there'll be hands-on demonstrations and training, including the opportunity to practice video appointments in a supportive environment. Next slide. We did this in 2023 across 8 library branches, and we supported 12 workshops, and about 80 community members participated. We're excited to see what this year brings. Listed in the slide that you see are the upcoming spring workshops with both London and Middlesex County libraries, and they begin on May 1st. We want to thank our library partners and our incredible team for continuing to make virtual care more accessible in our community. I'll turn it over now to Dr. McDonald to share details of organ donation awareness and an exciting celebration announcement.
Great, thanks very much, Deborah. So April is Organ Donation Month. On the screen, you'll see many very proud members of our transplant team celebrating transplant for the month of April. Monday, April 7th was Green Shirt Day to commemorate organ donation. Few facts about organ donation. One organ donor can save up to 8 lives and enhance the lives of 75 others through tissue donation. About 1,400 people in Ontario are waiting for a life-saving transplant. And every 3 days, someone dies waiting for an organ transplant. Everyone has the potential to be a donor, regardless of age or health. Many tissues and organs are donor worthy, including heart, kidneys, liver, lungs, pancreas, small intestines, eyes, bones, skin, and heart valves. They are all eligible. Next slide, please. So here at LHSC, we have performed over 7,000 transplants, and you can see the success and the happiness and the pride in our team. I'll take a short minute to take us through a little bit of the history of organ donation and organ transplant here at London Health Sciences. Our first transplant occurred at LHSC at UH within 6 months of opening its doors in 1972. The first transplant was a kidney transplant. In 1977 was our first liver transplant. In 1981, our first heart transplant. In 1987, it was the opening of our multi-organ transplant unit led by Dr. Cal Stiller, and you'll see the Stiller Blackburn multi-organ transplant unit in the background of all of our team. The next transplant was a small bowel transplant in 1988. Lung transplants and our first bone marrow was completed in 1989. And in 2001 was our 1,000th liver transplant. And we've accomplished great things since then. Our transplant program continues their groundbreaking research, innovation, and patient care. So what can we do as individuals and as a family? Probably the single best thing is register to be a donor. Many of us will remember the paper cards that we used to keep in our wallets. They no longer are what is required, but you can register online at www.beadonor.ca. Over 4 million Ontarians have formally registered to become organ and tissue donors. Please think about it and think for your families as well. Next slide, please. So we are thrilled at LHSC to be celebrating our 150 years of great care, teaching, and research. This marks our sesquicentennial of London General Hospital, which opened in 1875. You'll see the drawing on the right-hand side of your screen showing our London General Hospital. To mark this milestone, lots of preparation is going on to have multiple celebrations throughout the year. We'll be hosting different events with our signature event happening in early September. And this is really creating an opportunity for all of us to reflect on our past, our present, and think of what we can accomplish in the future. Please visit our LHSC 150 website to explore our history. You'll see lots of storylines throughout the year celebrating our history. And I think it'll generate the pride of our community, our patients, and those of us that work here and contribute to LHSC. Please share your own stories as well. Later this year, please watch for our exhibits at different places throughout London, and more details will be shared with you. Next slide, please. One of the most exciting things, shortly after we launched our website, our first Share Your LHSC story came in. As we have these stories come in, they will be shared and they will be compiled into a commemorative book. We have accomplished great things in our past. We continue to do great things in our present. And really, what we face in the future is a success for patient care, research, and innovation. So please celebrate with us. With that, I will hand over to Dr. Adam Duclos, the Integrated Vice President of Medical and Academic Affairs, and Dr. Anna Branch, who is a third-year neurology resident here at LHSC and Western, and currently our Western Paro site chair.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Christy and Deborah. It's great to be here again at the community meeting. As an emergency physician, I have the privilege of working alongside a small group of residents or medical students every time I work a shift. You'll see, though, that on the slide in front of you, every year we have almost 2,000 medical and dental learners work in the buildings at London Health Sciences Centre. LHC is proud to be fully affiliated with the Schulich School of Medicine and Dentistry at Western University. And that's where the large majority of our learners that are represented in these numbers come from. However, we also have hospital elective students and residents. We use the term elective to refer to non-mandatory rotations. And often these folks are traveling to London to explore a residency program or to explore a job opportunity later in their future. However, today we really wanted to focus in medical affairs update for LHSC on what it's like to be a resident and what resident training looks like. Many of you who have attended our hospital will have seen a resident physician, but not know exactly what the background to that is unless you are close to someone that's gone through medicine. Rather than me having speak to it as someone who finished residency about 18 years ago, we invited, as Christy pointed out, Dr. Anna Branch, who's a third-year neurology resident here in London, and as well as the Professional Association of Residents in Ontario leader for the city. So I have the privilege of handing it over to Anna. And if we get to the next slide, and over to you, Anna.
Great, thank you so much. So I'm really happy to be here with you all today to speak about residency training. Some of the topics I'm going to cover include who or what is a resident, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our professional association and the work that we do at Western and London more broadly in support of residents. So as Anna mentioned, some of you may have encountered residents at the hospital or your doctor's office, and I've heard that it's not always 100% clear what our role in your care is. So I thought it might be helpful to provide a brief outline of the journey to becoming a resident. So before medical school, residents first have to complete a university degree through undergraduate studies. This can range from 2 to 4 years, depending on the province and the school. Some also complete a master's or a PhD, which can be another 2 to 5 years. And many residents even come to medicine after having full other careers. During medical school, the first few years focus on class, group learning, and exams. Later, we begin working in doctors' offices and hospitals. You may encounter medical students helping out with your care at this point, but at this point, we're not doctors and are still unable to do things like practice independently and prescribe medications. Medical school lasts 3 or 4 years and finishes with the Canadian Residency Matching System. This is kind of an application interview process that matches the resident with a university. This determines where the resident will live and train for the next 2 to 7 years, which, as you can imagine, is very high stakes and stressful. Once we graduate from medical school, at this point we are doctors and so can directly care for patients and prescribe medication, but with supervision by more senior doctors. At this point, we are called residents, which basically means doctors training to be specialists, which is a certain type of doctor. So a family doctor, a pediatrician, or in my case, a neurologist, a doctor who treats the brain and nerves. Many residents move cities, provinces, or even countries to start their training. And this can vary in length. For family medicine, it lasts 2 or 3 years, and other programs can be far longer. For example, my program in neurology takes 5 years to complete. Even after residency, some residents choose to complete further subspecialty training to become even more specialized. For example, once I finish my neurology residency, there's option to do more training if I wanted to be a certain type of neurologist, like specifically a stroke neurologist. And then fun facts, why are we actually called residents? That's because residents actually used to live at the hospital, so reside at the hospital. Thankfully, they started to need more space in hospital for patients, so that is no longer the case. Next slide, please. Residents lead fairly demanding lives, typically working about 60 to 70 hours per week, with some reaching 80 to 100 hours during particularly intensive periods or in certain areas of medicine, such as caring for patients admitted to hospital or performing surgeries. Residents do a lot of the day-to-day care of patients in the hospital and clinic with many, many different tasks, varying from checking in on patients in the hospital daily, ordering and making sense of the results of medical tests, performing surgeries, staying in the hospital on call overnight, and many more. If you've ever been admitted to the hospital in London or had a family member admitted, you've likely encountered multiple residents. In addition to our responsibilities caring for patients, residents must also spend a good amount of time as learners, participating in teaching sessions, research, and other academic activities, and are also required to sit high-stakes exams throughout training. Successfully completing one of these exams is an essential step to getting a license to practice medicine independently without that supervision from more senior doctors. Residents overall wear many hats. As I mentioned, we are workers and learners, but also supervisors and teachers to more junior residents as well as medical students. Finally, many residents have additional responsibilities outside of their training. Many are parents. Some take on additional roles such as lead resident or representation on committees. For myself, in addition to being a senior resident in my program, meaning I have additional administrative and leadership tasks, I also have a leadership role with our professional association. Next slide, please. So the Professional Association of Residents of Ontario, or PARO, is the official representative voice for Ontario's doctors in training. You could think about it kind of like a union for residents, although it's not. This is important as our mission and priority is to advocate on behalf of our members, addressing professional and educational concerns so that we can improve the training and working experience of Ontario's newest doctors, which ensures that patients in kind receive the best medical care. PARO members are medical trainees who have graduated from medical school and are registered in approved university programs. We are located in 6, soon to be 7, as there's a new school opening in Toronto, university sites, and over 200 different hospitals or clinics all around the province. One of PARO's most important responsibilities is the negotiation of residents' contract with our employer, the Ontario Teaching Hospitals, which includes London Health Sciences Centre. PARO's strategic plan is made up of the following pillars: optimal training, where residents feel confident to succeed and competent to achieve excellent inpatient care; optimal work conditions, where residents enjoy working and learning in a safe, respectful, and healthy environment; and optimal transitions, where residents feel they are able to make informed career choices, have fair access to career opportunities, and obtain management skills for residency and beyond. We are led by a 12-person board of directors elected from around the province and a 100-person general council reflective of our 6 sites and many training programs. So as site chair, I lead the Western University section of the general council team. Next slide, please. Western PARO's site team works to achieve PARO's strategic plan at the local level. We do this in multiple different ways, including organizing local events and initiatives so that our members have opportunities to connect, unwind, refresh, improve morale, and prevent burnout. We attend and participate in both local PARO site meetings in London and full general council meetings representing the whole province and bring the perspective of our local members to the table. We also represent PARO at committee meetings at the hospital and university. We act as a resource to members by responding to and resolving contract questions, and we advocate to improve working conditions. Some initiatives we are currently working on include implementing a non-urgent paging program in the hospital to allow residents who work long shifts overnight to sleep when possible and to respond to emergencies without interruptions for non-urgent issues, and to strengthen nurse and resident working relationships. We are also working on ensuring residents are scheduled in ways that follow the rules of our contract and have places to rest when staying in the hospital overnight. Next slide. Finally, here's the fantastic team of Western's PARO General Council representatives that I lead. All in all, through this presentation, I hope that the next time you encounter a resident as part of your or your family member's medical journey, that you'll have a better idea of who we are and our role in your care. Thank you so much for your time and attention today.
Thanks very much, Anna. As you can see, we're lucky in London and our surrounding communities to have these learners in our hospital walls. They provide service to our patients. They learn, keep staff doctors on their toes, and evidence suggests they actually improve the quality of care you receive by having medical learners in the building. I now have the privilege of introducing Julia Markison, our Vice President of People and Employee Experience. Welcome back, Julia.
Thank you. Today, I'm going to focus on a component of human resources, recruitment services, that is absolutely essential in this talent market. We can go to the next slide. Our recruitment team is a critical component of finding top healthcare talent to come and deliver exceptional care here in London. And it connects with our strategic priority of building team LHSC. They're focused on implementing leading edge practices in recruitment and retention. And you can imagine that that's a massive job when there are more than 690 unique jobs at LHSC. It takes an awful lot of different roles to run a hospital as complex as ours, and that makes for an exciting environment. Because so many of our roles at LHSC are unionized, the recruitment team also partners significantly with our various union partners. So we've got the Ontario Nurses Association, we've got OPSU, we've got Unifor, we've got COPE, and we've got PIPSI, who represent our physicists. We can go to the next slide. The recruitment team is focused on doing an awful lot of different roles. So they create job postings. They're busy online, specifically with LinkedIn. They're reviewing applications, pre-screening applicants, organizing and creating interview tools, conducting interviews, conducting reference checks. All of the different stages of hiring staff are organized and coordinated by our recruitment team. And in addition, they're busy participating in career fairs and offering resume tips and tricks workshops in order to build capacity in the community and at LHSC. We can go to the next slide. As you probably have a sense now after our sessions to the community, we are a big organization with more than 15,000 staff, physicians, learners, and volunteers. And that means that we do an awful lot of hiring and recruiting. So sometimes when I look at these numbers, I'm a little bit blown away. There were over 39,000 online applications to LHSC in 2024, and we filled over 3,500 vacancies. We generally manage about 500 vacancies a month. And, all of that meant that there were over 250,000 visits to our careers website in 2024. And we engaged with almost 100,000, so 92,000 candidates on LinkedIn. We've seen a decrease in our recruitment volumes, and for that, we are thankful. Later on, I'll show a graph that shows the impact of the pandemic on recruitment and turnover, and it was significant. So we actually are happy to see a decrease. It means for us that we are retaining our staff. And lastly, just want to comment that nursing accounts for about 40% of our vacancies. Nursing is the largest group of workers at LHSC, and so that too should not be a big surprise, I don't think, to anybody. We can go to the next slide. And so here's the graph. You can see that it starts in 2020. And we were dealing with significant turnover and the impact of the pandemic. And so as we go to the right-hand side of that graph, we can see that the last 5 years, we have worked hard to reduce burnout and manage the implications of COVID. And we're happy to see that we've made strides in that respect. We can go to the next slide. Often I feel as though many of our various disciplines and workers get a little bit shortchanged because so often what we hear in the media is about doctors and nurses in hospitals. And it takes doctors and nurses for sure to run a hospital, but it takes so many other roles. And so here you can see the breakdown. As I said, nursing is certainly the biggest component of our workforce, about 45%. But the second biggest is support services. So people in support services, I'll go over that in a future slide, but porters and device reprocessing technicians, those are some of the roles. And then followed by that, the next biggest group are technicians and technologists. So people running our MRI machines and CTs, running our lab testing equipment are in that group. And then the health disciplines, administrative processes or administrative roles and clerical positions all account for just under 10% each. So that's how it breaks out. Again, it takes an awful lot of different roles to run a hospital as complex as ours. I'm going to go to the next slide, please. We're going to take you through some of the specific roles. When I say there's 200 or 690 different roles, I wanted to give the community a sense of all of the different titles that we have. So the picture on your right is Adrian Rose. Adrian is a nursing student at Fanshawe, and he was doing his final practicum with our nursing resource team. He was working in our medical unit, I believe. And so wanted to highlight, we've bolded some of the roles on the slides you're going to see. So you see nurse practitioner and physician assistant bolded. Those are two of the most difficult roles that we work to recruit. It takes us about 82 days to find an NP and about 132 days to fill and find a physician assistant. But you can see some of the other clinical roles include dietitians and physiotherapists and social workers and audiologists and child life specialists. The list goes on and on. We can go to the next slide. This picture is of Mariam. Mariam's a biomedical engineering technologist, and she's working to fix a syringe pump to deliver IV fluids. This group, you can see some of the bolded. Again, these are roles that we are a bit more challenged to fill, include anesthesia assistants, medical lab technologists, ECG technicians. So those are people who do your EKG to check your heart rhythms. Cardiac sonographers. So if you've ever had to have an ultrasound of your heart, that's what they do. But you can see a whole long list of other roles that fit into the clinical category. And it takes us about 135 days to fill an anesthesia assistant role versus about 51 to fill a cardiac sonographer. Then we can go to the next slide. Support services. So on the right is a picture of Owen Flood. He's a medical device reprocessing technician, and they make sure that all of the devices that we use in our procedures are sterilized appropriately and are ready for use and safe to use. In this group, you can see a whole bunch of different workers, linen workers, orderlies, millwrights, advanced ortho technicians. Those people work with all of the devices and casts associated with orthopedic surgery usually. Emergency department technician, if you've ever been to the ED, you may have run into that group. They work specifically to assist the staff and the team down there. It takes us about 72 days to fill a pharmacy technician role. There are people who work with our pharmacists to dispense medications. And it could take us up to 200 days to fill some of those roles above, specifically the trades. I hope as I take you through these slides, if you've got young people in your life, you may help them to think about some of these roles. I think many young people don't know how many different opportunities or career options there are, and especially in a hospital. Again, almost 700 different roles. This is a picture of Kathy Wood, who's our Black Health lead. But you can see in the administrative category, we've got all sorts of different titles: patient health advisors, environmental waste specialists, patient relations specialists, stroke navigators, librarians. It takes a lot of people to run this village. We can go to the next slide. This is a picture of Erica Tratanek, and Erica is an ambulatory clerk at the Verspeeten Cancer Center. So again, in the clerical category, we've got food service clerks and patient access clerks and dispatch clerks. It's a big crew that runs the extended paperwork and all of the documentation and bookings that are required in a hospital like ours. We can go to the next slide. We also have a category related to research, medical scientific roles. So you can see we've got research associates and scientists and clinical biochemists and clinical lab scientists that are all critical members of the team. This is a picture of Salman Maleki, who's a scientist, and he's looking at the interaction between tumor cells and immune cells. We can go to the next slide. So as part of the recruitment team's work, we've been updating our approach, and one of the biggest foci in the last while was that we wanted to recreate the recruitment brand to showcase the incredible Team LHSC members. So all of our marketing material, including web, print, and social content, was redesigned to make sure that we included members of our workforce. And we think that through storytelling, we've been able to really showcase the unique contributions and opportunities at LHSC, and that has really supported positive outcomes for recruitment and for retention. So you can see in the picture always includes people who are doing the work at LHSC. We can go to the next slide. We really recognize that we're living in a digital world, and so wanted to make sure that our processes were going to facilitate that. We have really focused on making sure that applicants can follow the status of their application through my HR profile. So they can check up on whether, you know, it's submitted to, sometimes it moves to under review, to reference check, to position filled, so that they can follow along as the process continues. We've also worked at reducing the time it takes to apply. So it used to take, we think, about 35 minutes to apply online, and working with our information system experts, we were able to take it down to 5 minutes. So it should take most people about 5 minutes to apply to a position at LHSC online. We've worked at LinkedIn Life, and so we really wanted to improve our presence in social media, and we want to tell inspirational stories about LHSC employees. And we think that by doing that, we have really improved engagement. So we've seen a 52% increase in online engagement. And then we've also want to recognize the fact that Canada has always been a multicultural country, and we are welcoming immigrants into LHSC all the time. And so sometimes we need a translation app. And so we've worked at making sure that that was available to facilitate really the best possible conversations. We can go to the next slide. We're lucky enough to obviously work with the Ministry of Health and other funders to deliver some important programs. So we continue to receive funding for the Community Commitment Program for nurses, and that provides stipends to new nurses when they commit to working at LHSC for a minimum of 2 years. We've also got the Clinical Scholar Program, which is also ministry funded, and that's pairs an experienced nurse with a new graduate who wants to ensure that their transition to the nursing profession is smoother than it might otherwise be. And we are also out and about in the community, participating in career fairs and community events. And because our London community speaks a lot of different languages, we have translated our materials into Arabic, Spanish, Chinese, Portuguese, and French. And we make sure we have those when we're out and about at community events. And we've partnered with so many different organizations, Fanshawe College and the London Economic Development Corporation and Western and Will, and the list is endless in order for us to make community partnerships that will connect job seekers to LHSC, because we want to make sure that our doors are open and we have the best possible pool of candidates. So we can go to the next slide. And with that, I'm happy to turn the presentation over to Deb Wiseman and Tim Rice, Carl Rebergen, and Drs. George Dresser and Dr. Andrew Appleton to talk a little bit more about what's happening in medicine.
Thanks so much, Julia. Such an extensive amount of work you do in recruitment. We thank you for it. It's my pleasure and privilege to introduce the Inpatient Medicine Services program to you all today. Tim Rice and Carl Raybergen are directors in our Inpatient Adult Medicine Services, and Dr. Andrew Appleton, who will take you through what you might experience as individuals of our community and beyond our community that might require our specialty services. Over to you.
Thank you, Deborah. So next slide, please. So today I just wanted to spend a short amount of time telling you about adult inpatient medicine services at LHSC. So we have 2 hospitals here at LHSC where you can be admitted to medicine. The first being University Hospital, where we have 122 medicine beds, and Victoria Hospital, which has 174 medicine beds. We work together as one team, so no matter which hospital you go to, you will get the care that you need. We also work closely with our other LHSC programs to make sure that you get any additional testing or specialty care that you might need. We care for adults aged 17 and older within adult inpatient medicine. This year, the average age of our patients at University Hospital was 73 years, and at Victoria Hospital, about 69 years. The medicine program is seeing more patients each year. University Hospital this year saw 5,972 patients, which is 420 patients more than last year. And at Victoria Hospital, 7,532 patients this year, 407 more than last year. We offer several important medical services. The first being general medicine services, which treats a wide range of illnesses. Nephrology for kidney-related issues. Gerontology focuses on the health of older adults. Palliative care, which provides comfort for those with serious illnesses. Respirology, which deals with lung and breathing problems. Subacute medicine, which focuses on patients who need extra care once they leave the hospital. Non-oncologic hematology for blood diseases not related to cancer. Infectious diseases, which are those diseases that can spread from person to person. And finally, clinical pharmacology, which studies how medicines work within the human body. So I hope that that provides you a brief understanding of the services that we provide on medicine, and appreciate your attendance today. I'll now pass the presentation on to Tim Rice, the Director for VH Medicine, who will review how we cared for higher numbers of patients this past respiratory season.
Thank you, Carl. My portion of our time together today is to share the medicine program's response to the respiratory season. This term refers to a time each year when the community experiences an increase in illnesses that often affect the lungs and breathing. I am referring to illnesses like influenza and COVID. This season usually lasts from October to March, but it can change a bit each year. The result for the hospital community is that more patients will require a hospital stay to support their recovery from these illnesses. When we look at this season, we saw more patients needing hospital care than usual during this respiratory season, or a term that we refer to as a surge in patients requiring inpatient hospital care. This surge was not only experienced at LHSC, but also happened in many communities across Ontario. The busiest time for the medicine program this year was in February. To respond to this increase in patient volumes, LHSC opened 26 extra temporary acute care beds. From October to March, we admitted 7,384 patients to our medicine programs. This means we treated 533 more patients this year than last during the same time period. We could not have responded this way without the support of the entire LHSC team, especially our medicine teams, and we want to take this opportunity to thank all of our staff for their hard work and dedication during this very busy time. Thank you. I will now pass the presentation on to Dr. Andrew Appleton, Physician Lead for UH Medicine, who will review our interprofessional team's response to this respiratory season, as well as highlighting some exciting work that is happening within the program.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim. So yeah, I'm Andrew Appleton. I'm not Carl, but just to underscore the point on this slide, which is that inpatient medicine is a team sport. I had some tech issues and had to run down the stairs and hijack Carl's computer. So we thank him for that. Yeah, so inpatient medicine, it's a very complex, dynamic environment. So we have 8 acute medicine teams across the city. So four at UH and 4 at Victoria Hospital. So what that means is we've got 8 attending physicians every single day of the year who are attending on our medicine wards. And each of those physicians is running a team with residents and medical students, and then caring for a cohort of patients. So there's a lot going on. And the patients themselves are very complex with a number of different medical conditions at any given time and care needs. And in order to care for them most effectively, we rely on a team of interdisciplinary professionals. So in the picture here is a recreation therapist, Deb, who is a new addition this past year and the result of some quality improvement work. So she's a recreation therapist, which is an incredible position. So she helps to occupy particularly our older patients who are at risk for delirium, to keep them I would say entertained, but to keep them occupied so they have something to focus on, and they can continue to use their cognitive skills throughout a stay. But we've got, of course, our nursing staff, PSWs, and our health disciplines. So that's our physiotherapists, occupational therapists, speech and language pathologists, dietitians, social workers. We rely on absolutely everybody to provide the high quality care that we do. And then, of course, as our resident representative mentioned earlier, we have learners on those teams who are an integral component of patient care on a daily basis. So we can go to the next slide. And then just one clinical entity, which is extremely important. So as Carl mentioned, the average age of our populations is in the geriatric range at both sites. And that means that our patients are at risk for something called delirium, which is basically when people get acutely confused because of either underlying cognitive illness or because of their acute illness when they're very sick, that the brain just doesn't function properly and people can get confused with a change in environment. And why delirium is important is because it leads to longer length of stay in hospital, higher costs, and a higher likelihood that somebody maybe can't return home after hospitalization and may require placement in long-term care. But the good news is that delirium is identifiable and it is preventable. And we have a number of projects on the go at the moment, or that we're initiating. So we are participating in a province-wide delirium prevention project where we will be screening all patients who come in with a tool called 4AT, which is a series of short questions that helps us detect delirium early. We'll be providing education for patients and their caregivers on how to detect and help to manage and prevent delirium as well. And then embedded into our order sets in hospital, we're also using appropriate medications, timing for interventions like blood draws and so on, to help reduce the risk of delirium across the board too. So there's lots of exciting things on the go that we know will help our population and help us to provide the care for the community that we need here in London and the region. So I'll end there and I'll turn it back over to David to, I think, wrap things up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for being quick on your feet to get to the other computers. So I appreciate that. So before we close, I want to remind everyone we have a web form available for you to submit questions to be answered in these meetings. You can find the link in the description on the YouTube and/or community update meetings page of our website. And we also have a QR code up on the screen for you to scan. It'll take you to the form to submit questions. So since our last meeting, I had a handful of questions that I'll go through. Is number one, the first relates to the weapon detection system is, the cost of it. So we contracted the system through a company called Convergent Canada, and we're leasing the 2 units. And the 2 units, their total cost for both units, if you want to be exact, is $7,701.17 per month. So that's for both units combined. Clearly, every dollar counts, but when it comes to an investment, I think this one is beyond well worth it. The next question we received is, why doesn't LHSC have a central reception desk? This is amazing. That's a great question. Now, you have to remember, LHSC is one of the largest hospitals in the country, and we provide care for more than 1 million patients a year and support a wide range of specialized programs and services. Each department has unique workflows and needs, and the clerical and reception staff are essential to ensure that things keeps moving. So in order to provide the best and most efficient care, our receptions are decentralized and located in areas to which you're going to go for your care. And this also allows for easier navigation and wayfinding, so you don't have to walk from one end of the hospital to the other. Another question we received is there a possibility that Victoria and/or University will undergo renovations, and why isn't there a separate children's hospital at LHSC? So we're actively engaged in capital redevelopment planning, and you'll see in our CAC action plan, we're committed to ongoing work in this area. There's always ongoing renovations and upgrades, and that's how we ensure our facilities continue to meet the needs in the future. And we're currently working with the Ministry of Health to determine what our facilities will look like in the years to come. As for Children's Hospital, it's fully integrated into LHSC and located at our Victoria Hospital campus. As a regional referral center, we provide specialized pediatric inpatient, outpatient services to children in Southwestern Ontario from birth through to age 18. There are plenty of healthcare professionals, parents, and families from all over the region that count on this specialized expertise. This integrated model allows us to provide seamless care for both pediatric and adult patients, so it ensures a strong collaboration between the teams and the best outcomes for our patients and families. Finally, we've been asked about plans to update the healthcare IT side of things and how we're embracing digital health transformation here at LHSC. This is another great and timely question. Clearly, as world technology grows, so must our healthcare technology. Our CAC action plan also includes work related to digital transformation, including digital communication and patients and partner organizations. One major initiative is called OneChart. It's a project aimed at modernizing our digital infrastructure and EMRs, electronic medical records, so care is more efficient and better connected for our patients, our internal teams, and partners. So the goal is to improve the flow of information, make it easier for people to collaborate, and give patients better access to their own health data. So again, we encourage and appreciate the engagement of our community and continue submitting the questions you may have. The questions also help ensure we're addressing the topics that matter most to you. So again, thank you everyone for a pack-filled day of information. And to our media partners, please join us in our media scrum now. We look forward to addressing any questions you might have. Everyone have a great day. Take care.